Although Episode 11 signaled that Yellowstone Season 5 Part 2 was turning around after a couple of poor hours, Episode 12, Counting Coup, unfortunately brings the series back down to the ground. Prior to the episode, Taylor Sheridan's neo-Western drama TV show only had 3 episodes left to close out its story and conclude character arcs in a way that would satisfy us. Instead, Episode 12 did little to move the plot forward and contains a death that is unnecessary and quite disappointing. Following Sarah's shocking death in Yellowstone Season 5 Episode 11, the police question Jamie in Episode 12. They don't consider him a suspect at first, but when he has a frantic and defensive reaction to the detectives looking at Sarah's belongings, they add him to the list of suspects. Elsewhere in the hour, Rip tries to sell as much livestock as he can as the ranch is in desperate need of money. Meanwhile, Casey has a memorable storyline as he continues seeking justice for his father's murder, and one beloved ranch hand sacrifices his life to save another. In a strange turn of events, another Yellowstone Season 5 Part 2 character dies in Episode 11, Colby. Carter gets stuck in a stable with a violent horse, and when Colby tries to distract the animal to save Carter, the horse attacks Colby, killing him. Carter tries to save the ranch hand by shooting the horse, but it's too late. Colby is already gone, devastating almost every character, especially Tita, Colby's girlfriend, and Ryan, Colby's best friend. Despite the obvious heartbreak, Colby's passing isn't effective due to Part 2's previous death. It's also entirely unnecessary. When a TV show starts killing off characters left and right, the deaths become less impactful. John Dutton's fate in the Yellowstone Season 5 Part 2 premiere was obviously powerful as it affected every character in the show's entire story. Then, Sarah's death at the end of Episode 11 was completely shocking and seemingly changed the plot for the better. But both characters' deaths then cheapen Colby's. Colby's demise also does nothing to push the story forward, making it completely avoidable. It affects Tita, of course, but Colby's death won't influence Yellowstone Season 5's arc. Aside from Colby's death and Casey's actions at the end of the hour, Yellowstone Season 5 Episode 12 is hardly memorable. Counting Coup as a whole doesn't contain much development, meaning Taylor Sheridan is wasting precious time ahead of the show's series finale. Given that only 2 episodes remain in the neo-Western drama, it needs to efficiently utilize every second of the best of its ability, but Episode 12 seemingly negates that notion by featuring forgettable and meaningless scenes. Instead of continuing the war between Beth and Jamie, they are barely seen in the episode, even though they are arguably 2 of the most important characters in the show's final story. Counting Coup doesn't present a path forward for either of them after Sarah's death. As a result, their feud is losing steam, making us lose interest in seeing what happens next to Beth and Jamie. If there is one good thing about Counting Coup, it's Casey. After being the reason why his father's case was reopened in Yellowstone Season 5 Episode 11, Casey continues on his warpath in Episode 12. His old military friend sends him information about Grant, the hitman Sarah hired to assassinate John, and Casey tracks the man down. He jumps into the back seat of Grant's car, points the gun at his young daughter, and threatens Grant. Casey leaves with no bloodshed, but he makes it very clear that he is not someone Grant wants to mess with. Casey's dark side coming out at the end of Episode 12 is thrilling, to say the least. His character development in the second part of Season 5 has been quite intriguing to watch, and Casey's scene with Grant will undoubtedly create excitement about what comes next for Luke Grimes' character. However, since Casey essentially does nothing but traumatize 2 people in Yellowstone Season 5 Episode 12, the story surrounding John's death doesn't truly move forward.